All right, good morning, CAD 255. Hope everyone's doing well. All right, so we are going to get into SolidWorks today and start talking about the interface and how you begin a drawing in SolidWorks. So when you initially open SolidWorks, it's going to prompt you to open you'll have to select a certain file type that you want to open. So we've got three file types to choose from. So we've got parts, we've got assemblies, and we have drawings. Let's talk about those for a second. So parts are just what that sounds like, an individual part that you draw. So if you're drawing let's say a wrench of some sort that has multiple parts, each part will be modeled on its own independently, and then those parts will be put together inside of an assembly file so that you've got these parts assembled virtually in a drawing or in an assembly file. And then the drawing files are where you would dimension and create notes and document any of the other things you need to document in order to be shared or printed so that you can have those manufactured or described to a client or something. So we're going to go ahead and begin with part file. That's the basic building block of SolidWorks, so we'll get going on that. All right, so this is what the user interface is going to look like. You've got a toolbar, which is called the tool ribbon up here along the top. Then we've got the design manager over on the left, and you're going to see the design manager has a lot of information about the name of the part here. You've got your history. You've got your different planes, the work planes that we're going to sketch on. And as we begin to sketch and as we begin to add complexity and features and stuff to our part, you're going to see this. There will be a list that grows down this side of all of the history of the part as it's being made. So if you're familiar with AutoCAD, this is really different than how AutoCAD operates. AutoCAD doesn't accumulate a history of the moves that you've made to get to where you are. This is actually really, really handy. It is a little more complicated to keep track of at certain times, but it's a pretty great feature. So most of where you're gonna go to find tools and go to find things that you care about is gonna be in the top left corner. The lesser used tools will kind of go out to the right from that top left corner. And so the workflow here is you'll create a sketch on a plane and then you'll create a feature. So let's, and the easiest way to do that is to describe that is just to kind of show you. So these two tabs right here, we're going to end up going back and forth between quite a bit. And so you'll see me doing that. But the first tab we actually start with is this sketch tab. So we click the sketch tab. We're going to click sketch. So that creates a new sketch. Okay, now what SolidWorks wants to know is which plane do you want to sketch on? So it's just like, if you're sketching on a piece of paper, which direction, orientation do you want your piece of paper facing? I'm going to go ahead and select the top plane. So that plane just kind of flipped up and faced me, and now it disappears. And up here in blue, we have all the tools, the sketch tools that we can use on the sketch plane. So we've got rectangles and circles and arcs and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to choose the center rectangle for now. You can also choose different types of rectangles. I would say the two you will use 99% of the time is corner rectangle and center rectangle. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the center rectangle. This part in the middle here is called the origin. It's important to anchor or you know, lock down a part of your sketch on the origin, and you'll see if I try and grab that point, it won't let me pull it away because it's now attached. So it has a relationship, is what it's called, to that origin, and it's stuck there. But these we can change the size of, because we don't have dimensions that are holding it in place. So again, this is really different than AutoCAD. So this is called a parametric modeling tool, and you can actually change it and update it. So next, we're going to add a dimension. Let's say we want 8 by 4. So now we've got a 4 by 8 rectangle. We'll click OK over here. You'll notice that the sketch geometry changed from blue to black. When you've got all black geometry, that means the sketch is fully defined, which means you can't pull it. It's got all the dimensions it needs, and it's locked in place. That is what you want. Ideally, with any sketch, you want a fully defined sketch. I'm just going to delete one of these dimensions so you can see what I'm talking about. So in this dimension, I can pull it back and forth because it's not fully defined. I don't have a dimension. This way, I can't. It won't let me drag it anywhere. It'll let me go up and down, but not side to side. Let's go ahead and add this again. We'll go 4 inches again. Okay. So we've got a fully defined sketch, and then we're going to go over to the features right here. So now at this point, I can extrude, I can do a couple of different operations, but for now I'm going to go ahead and extrude this and give it some thickness, so it's a block basically. So you've got an arrow here that you can drag. Over here you can type in exactly the dimension you'd like. Let's just say it's 3 inches tall. Click OK. And now we have a block. All right. So if I were to, let's say we needed some holes put in this block. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go right back to the Sketch tab. And you're going to see me going back and forth between these two. We're going to create a new sketch. And now it's going to ask, what plane or face do you want to sketch on? Now you got to select. You could select one of the planes that we originally selected, like front, top, or right, or we can actually select the faces of this new block. So I'm going to go ahead and select the side face. If we want to, we can click normal to. It's a really helpful tool. It just faces the sketch plane or face towards you. And then let's say we had to put in a hole in here. Okay, so we've got a circle. And you're going to notice that the circle is undefined. So we can drag it around. We can make the circle bigger and smaller. That is not ideal. We want to make it fully defined. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some dimensions. Still, it's not fully defined because we can move it in space. So we're going to dimension from the center point. So when you're locating a circle, I'm going to do it from the center point. To 2 edges. So now we can't drag this anywhere. It's fully defined. It won't move. It won't change sizes. It won't change position. Now we can go back to features. And this time I'm going to select extruded cut. And we're going to go through. I'm going to say through all. Click OK. And now we've got a hole that goes all the way through. All right, so now over here, you're going to see that this the feature manager has grown. It's now got a boss extrude, and it's got a cut extrude. These little arrows will show that there's a sketch under each one of these features. So if you remember, we started with a sketch, and then we created a feature. And then we started with a sketch, and we created another feature. Either of those things can still be edited. So let's say we wanted to adjust the size of the original sketch. We're going to right-click, and up here we'll say Edit Sketch. And we can, let's say we wanted to make that 4. We'll click OK. This is another place we can enter, or actually just exit a sketch. So once we say that that's good, and we want to exit the sketch, we can click this. If you click the red X, it will delete all of the changes that you just made. So typically you want to exit with that one. And it'll update your part accordingly. You can also adjust the feature as well. So let's say we want to adjust the height of that extrusion. So go ahead and right click, say Edit Feature, and now we can adjust this again. So let's make that 1 instead of 3. Okay. And we got a little bit of an issue there because we've shortened our block to where it doesn't, the hole doesn't fit in there now. Let's just change that again. So we'll edit the feature, and let's just make that 2. Okay. So now we've got a an edited block basically. So that's going to be kind of the basics of how the flow works. So you start a sketch, and then you create a feature from that sketch. And those will be added in this feature manager. And when they come in, they'll be collapsed. But if you expand these, you'll then be able to go in and edit all of what you created and update your designs from that panel there. All right, so that's the basics. It gets quite a bit more complicated than that, but we're going to take it slowly. And what I'm going to have you guys do is you're going to do some work in Solid Professor, and Solid Professor will also give you a little introduction to the basics of SolidWorks, and then you'll have a little practice exercise due at the end. But yeah, that's it. Welcome to your first day of SolidWorks. It's pretty exciting. It'll be pretty fun. But I'm going to pause right there, and we'll get going for the day.